Hey everyone, we are working with the slope triangle again. And so on our last video, we talked about all of this stuff here. Slope, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. That was one way. We could also do rise over run. And then delta y over delta x, which basically means change in y over change in x. That's what all of this means, change in y over change in x. So this is kind of what it looks like, and we drew this last week. So we are going to start right here, and it says, what is the slope of the line passing through 4, 3, and 3, 1? So we can do this a couple of ways, but always good to practice graphing. So everybody, we're going to graph 4, 3, 4 to the right, 3 up. The next point is 3, 1, 3 over, 1 up. Okay, so we are going to draw a line connecting this. Okay, then we're going to do our rise and run. So we have our slope triangle right here. Okay, so this one says, what is the rise? And hopefully remember, when it's going up to the right, that's a positive slope. If it's going down to the right, that's a negative slope. I can already tell this is positive. It's going up to the right. So our rise is, and again, I could have drawn it this way. I'm going to use a different color. I could have drawn it this way, up, over. It doesn't matter. But our rise, I can tell, again, these are counting by 1, 1, 2. That's the rise. The run, we just move 1 over. Well, what is the slope? Well, it's rise over run. So it's 2 over 1 or 2. Okay? So we're going to move to the next one. And it says, find the slope of the line passing through points 1, 2, and 4, 3. So let's put points 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 over, and 2 up. 1 over, 2 up. The other one is 4, 3, 4 over, 3 up. And again, we still have a positive slope because this is still up to the right. So I'm going to draw my line. Then I'm going to draw my slope triangle. I'm going to do rise, then run. Rise, run. Remember, we're always making a right triangle. Okay? So rise over run. So the rise is basically how tall this triangle is. Looks like it's 1. The run is 1, 2, 3. Okay? And we can tell by this it's a little less steep. So that's why we have a fraction less than 1. When it's more steep, you will have a fraction greater than 1. If you have a fraction that is exactly 1, not a fraction, but a slope exactly 1, it would be going right that way at a 45-degree angle. Okay, so we are going to go back to well, let me go down here first. Flip your paper over. When we see this, it can be kind of difficult. So our job is to find where our points where our points pass exactly. So when I'm doing this, I can see that's exactly a point. That's exactly a point. That's exactly a point. That's exactly a point. So when you're doing this, you can choose any 2 points to do rise and run. I'm going to let you do that on number 12. Find where you can see a point that passes exactly on the grid. Okay? Several here. Okay? On here, definitely I can tell right there. Right there. Okay? So you're going to actually plot those points that you can tell exactly where they go. Okay, so we did this last week, but I'm still going to review it again. We would do x1, y1, x2, y2. It doesn't matter which one is 1, which one is 2, but I do want to make sure I label them. okay? So remember, it's y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, okay? So first thing I do is y2. I have my y2 labeled 9. Then I put a minus. Then I come over here. Here's y1. It's 3. And then I do x2. I'm not solving right now. x2 is 7 minus, and then x1 is 10. Okay? Now, you can use the calculator on this, but hopefully we can tell. 9 minus 3 is 6. 7 minus 3, hopefully you can tell that's a negative. It's a negative 3, right? And when you divide that, you should get a negative 2. Okay? I'm going to put that over here. That's my slope. Okay? And now, as I do the next one, I'm actually going to shift everything over some. I'm going to put y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And again, you can do this on your calculator, okay? I'm going to let you do this one. I'm going to come up here and try this one because I have a negative here. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. That is the formula for the slope of a line when I don't have the picture. Now, I could always graph it and count rise over run. And if I count rise over run, I'm going to get the same answer, okay? So I'm going to say x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? So y2 is the first thing I want. That should go first. That's 3, and then I put a minus. y1 is a negative 2. x2 is right here. I have it labeled. Minus, and then x1 is 4. Oh, I'm glad I did this one. Okay, so when we have this, so I'm good on top. That's a 5. Now, if you put this in exactly in your calculator and you get a 0, guys, we call this undefined or no slope. Okay. Your calculator will probably give you an error because we cannot have a 0 on bottom, okay? So we would say this is undefined or no slope. This would end up being a vertical line. And if you plot that, you will see that those 2 points make a vertical line, okay? So I'm going to let you continue this. Again, you can use your calculator. Be careful. Label your points. I'm going to just put a big box here because that entire thing shows my answer.